In the enchanting days of August 1518, a seemingly joyful dance fever swept through a town, turning merriment into tragedy as 400 people succumbed to an uncontrollable compulsion, dancing themselves to exhaustion and, sadly, to their demise. In the summer of 1518, during the reign of King Henry VIII in England and just as Michelangelo was putting the finishing touches on the Sistine Chapel, a peculiar event unfolded in the picturesque town of Strasbourg. It all started on July 14th, when Mrs. Schumann, feeling a bit lively, decided to bust a move. Little did she know, she was about to cha-cha-cha her way into history, right in the midst of the Renaissance, where art, science, and apparently dance were flourishing. As the days rolled on, the town turned into a dance floor. By July 21st, it wasn't just a local groove, it was a full-blown dance-a-palooza, with people dancing as if they were characters in a Shakespearean comedy. Some danced for hours, others for days. It was like the world's longest conga line, and everyone was invited. But amidst the frenzy, one burning question remained: why were they dancing? To dance or not to dance, that is the question. Or at least, that's what Shakespeare would have said if he were alive during the great dance-off of 1518. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some blamed it on a bad batch of sauerkraut, others on a whimsical curse, and a few even thought it was a form of medieval flash mob protest. The town was abuzz with gossip, much like the royal courts of the time. Despite the confusion, the town officials had an epiphany. Let them dance. So, on July 30th, as King Francis I of France was busy contemplating his next royal feast, the Strasbourg officials hired musicians, set up refreshment stands, and turned the dance-a-palooza into a profitable festival. They say even the king would have been impressed with their festive spirit. In early September, as the days grew shorter and the mania began to abate, the once lively town of Strasbourg found itself reflecting on the curious and tragic events that had transpired. The 1518 event, the most thoroughly documented and likely the last of several such outbreaks in Europe, was part of a curious phenomenon that occurred largely between the 10th and 16th centuries. A similar eruption, known to historians, took place in 1374, spreading to several towns along the Rhine River. Contemporary explanations for the dancing plague included demonic possession and overheated blood. Investigators in the 20th century suggested that the afflicted might have consumed bread made from rye flour contaminated with the fungal disease ergot, known to produce convulsions. American sociologist Robert Bartholomew posited that the dancers were adherents of heretical sects, dancing to attract divine favor. However, the most widely accepted theory, proposed by American medical historian John Waller, was that the dancing plague was a form of mass psychogenic disorder. He further maintained that there was a local belief that those who failed to propitiate Saint Vitus, patron saint of epileptics and of dancers, would be cursed by being forced to dance. And so, as the dancing plague subsided in early September, the once jubilant streets of Strasbourg fell silent. The great dance-off of 1518, an oddity in the tapestry of history, left its mark not just as a quirky dance-a-palooza but as a reflection of the fears and stresses that plagued the hearts of those townspeople.